1, action! Hello, good humans. Maya here today, and our topic is sustainable reading and a haul. Here is my thought on book hauls on BookTube. They're incredibly enjoyable to watch because you get a lot of book recommendations, and they're kind of like a TBR, and that they provide you with a long, lengthy list of things to check out in the future. For that reason, I find them extremely enjoyable. I also love books as just artwork. I think they're beautiful. I love the covers. Sometimes you get beautiful artwork on the front, stunning, fantastic, and it's really cool to look at all of that in one viewing. That being said, I have a problem with book hauls. That is because, in my opinion, I do not think they are very sustainable. Books are paper. You probably knew that. They come from trees. Trees are being chopped down like candy canes and Wreck-It Ralph. And that is problematic because we are in the age of extreme global warming. Because of that, I make a huge effort to buy as many books as I can when I buy books secondhand. And today I'm going to talk about where you can go to do that, my tips for you. Also, I'm going to be showing you some titles I've recently purchased secondhand, and we're going to talk about the library, and about ebooks, and about audiobooks, and the whole 9 yards. To get started, I will first tell you about Thrift Books. Thrift Books is a website that I use often. This is not a sponsored video, but I really, truly enjoy their website. You can buy books on there for quite cheap from different ranges of quality. You have the good, the new, the acceptable. You have the hardback, the paperback, etc. And I enjoy that because if I want to buy, say, The Great Gatsby, I click search. It comes up with The Great Gatsby, and I can choose from a range of editions. I will often choose the lowest quality book at the cheapest price to help save the planet. Here are some books I recently picked up from thriftbooks.com. The first is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I started this yesterday. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It is about a lovely lady who goes into self-induced social distancing mode, only leaves her house for coffee. That is relatable, my friends. I really am enjoying this book. I'm excited to see the story unfold. I know that there's a lot of drug use in this book to induce sleep because she literally wants to hibernate for a year, which is totally wacky, and I think it should distort her point of view. She's obviously going to be a bit of an unreliable narrator. I always enjoy those. Sometimes I end up hating them. I think this will be a case of enjoyment. Talked about this in the last video, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Despite the fact that this is one of my favorite books of all time, I do now. I previously did not own this because I listened to it on audiobook, and I decided I wanted my own copy. I find myself re-listening to it a lot, so I would like to be able to reread it a lot. Perks of Being a Wallflower. Follows Charlie. Life's a mess. Makes some friends. They help him out. Spoiler alert. Next, from Thrift Books, I got We Were the Lucky Ones. This is a historical fiction novel. Don't know much about it. Takes place during World War II. I think it's a romance. Yeah, budding romance. New babies. There's jazz clubs in Paris in this book, apparently. I'm really excited. Has some good reviews on Goodreads. Give it a shot. The next book I got on thriftbooks.com is The Lovely Bones. I've realized that I have a pretty horrible habit of buying books that Saoirse Ronan was in the movie equivalent of. I really like Saoirse Ronan, so this book is about a girl named Susie Salmon, and she's adjusting to her new home in heaven and watching life on earth continue without her. I think this one will make me cry. Sometimes you just need a good cry book. Lastly, from thriftbooks.com, I got Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This is an author duo that I have heard so much about and never read, so I thought that I would give this novel a shot. I believe it's about two friends who have known each other for quite a long time. Hazel's a bit out there, Josh is a bit reclusive, and their budding romance and their attempts to stop said romance from occurring. I have Autobiography, which is another novel this author duo has written, on audiobook right now. I'm really enjoying it, so I'm hopeful for this one. those are all my books from thriftbooks.com. I'd highly recommend it. Like I said, lots of books for cheap. Sometimes you get a fun little thing, like this book happened to be from Saratoga Springs Public Library, New York. And that made me happy. I don't know why. I like New York. I like to think about reading in New York with the coffee and the books. And those aesthetic mood boards on Pinterest are totally getting to me. Anyway, apart from thriftbooks.com, I would like to talk about a few other ways to read sustainably. The first is obviously your library. Please utilize your library. They get sad and lonely, and the old men with the flat caps that read in the upstairs area will not bite. They're very friendly, and they often have really good book recommendations. Also, my library happens to have a cafe inside, and they make really stellar lattes, so you can find little gems like that hidden among the paperback books. Libraries are really cool because you can check out multiple books at a time. If you read a lot, like me, you can get them in bulk. I believe you can check out about 12 books at a time and have 20 on hold. Also, the library often has a corresponding app or website for you to use. Often that has to do something with Overdrive. My library's edition is called Libby. You install it on your handy-dandy cell phone, you plug in the title of your library, you plug in your library number, and you have access to all of the ebooks in the district for your library, as well as all of the audiobooks. I'm currently a huge fan of audiobooks. I listen to them while I do my chemistry labs. I listen to them while I'm doing the laundry. I listen to them pretty much all the time, and they're really lovely. Right now, I am listening to Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm really enjoying it, but I also have some thoughts. More on that later. Other than your library and digital books, something else you can consider if you do not want to buy online, as I did with thriftbooks.com, you can go to your local Goodwill. They have often a lot of books for very cheap. The problem here for me is that Goodwill is meant to cater to communities that are not having access to as many affordable amenities in the area, and buying books from Goodwill does take away from the resources. Be right back. I have to check the ice that I'm freezing for chemistry. Where was I? Yeah. So, my only qualm with thrifting books from shops such as Goodwill is that I feel I'm taking a resource away from someone who can't afford a book at Barnes & Noble but can at Goodwill. That being said, it's really good for the environment, so you just have to consider all of the factors that go into buying secondhand books from shops such as Goodwill and decide what is right for you. I tend not to buy books from Goodwill unless I find one I was specifically looking for a really good deal, just because I want to make sure that underprivileged communities are able to access books at a reasonable price for them. All right, that covers thriftbooks.com, the library, as well as ebooks and audiobooks, and my thoughts on Goodwill and thrifting books. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and maybe you got a book recommendation thrown in there, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. See you next time!